Hi everyone, and welcome to the next slot, where it's all about digital engineering and how our digital services can help you manage your connected fleet, equipment, and data in the cloud. My name is Jochen. I'm responsible for business development in the context of the digital services, and I'm here with my colleague Martin.
Thanks, Jochen. My name is Martin Birk. I'm responsible for connected service within the service factory in BG. And yeah, I also warmly welcome you. And now, Jochen, I think you can start with the first part.
With some introduction slides, yes. So when we talk about digital services, what is the big aim behind it? What is the target? The target of our services is to make your development cycle more efficient and less complex. And we help you to handle, for example, development data from the vehicles, and connect those data to the team which is handling this data. That means in detail, for example, we have a project manager in the US, which is working with a calibration engineer in Germany and with a software developer in India, together on the same project, on the same vehicles, and the vehicles driving around worldwide. Those vehicles collecting data, and the data is connectable at the moment the data is collected from the vehicle. And that's how our services work together and make those things possible in a very easy way. And how exactly we can achieve this picture, I want to show you in the next few minutes. First of all, some basic information about our services and how they interact with, for example, our platform. We have those three layers you see on this slide. And on the very bottom of the slide, there is the foundation. It's a digital platform. On this platform, there are the services located, and because of the same platform, they can interact with each other. So as you can see, there are 4 areas of services available at the moment. And it belongs to the digital engineering process. So we start with a plan area, then there comes a collect area, it's all about data. We have a store and organize area, and in the end, there is analyze and report. In those 4 areas, there's a bunch of services available from BG side. And for some of those services, we want to give you a little bit insights in the next few minutes. As you can see in the middle of the platform and the services, there's an automation layer. And the automation layer is the big benefit when talking about digital services. That means we have the possibility to connect the services from those various areas with each other, and they can talk with each other. They can connect to each other, and they can send data to each other. And that's a very big benefit when talking about complex use cases, which are normal in the development cycle in an automotive engineering process. So that's the theoretical part of how our services works and where are they located. And on the next slide, we see a quick overview of the services that are available right now. You see, the most of them are gray. Those are the internal services we are using as Bosch, but you also can see the colored ones. And the colored ones are those which are available for the external market. And as you can see, there are a lot of services available in the plan and collect area, where it's all about, for example, the fleet management, it's a very basic service. And then within the collect area, there are the remote services, where it's all about data and collecting the data from vehicles from the development cars. Later on, there's also the possibility to have an analyze and report service, for example, to do analysis on the data collected from your remote vehicles. That's just a quick overview to give you a brief insight on the services that are available right now. And on the next slide, I want to show you an example use case, how those services can interact with each other. And let's start, when we say each of these bubbles is a dedicated service, let's start, for example, with the fleet management on the very left side. You can create your fleet, your development fleet with the fleet management service. You can handle and book your vehicles. You can plan and schedule them. And after that, you can send them, for example, for a test trip. When the cars are on the road, they are collecting data. And with one of our services, for example, with the remote vehicle access service, you can collect data while these cars are driving around. You can even access the car and do some flashing jobs. But for a main use case, you can just grab the data and store it in the cloud logic. When the data is available in this cloud logic, all the team members who are in this project have access to this data, can work with this data, and it's a very, very quick thing to get the data from the car to this cloud logic. When it's available on a cloud server, of course, you can access the data to do further analysis, for example. In this example, there's the service called CDA, Cloud-Based Data Analysis, and this service helps to get the right data in a big bunch of data to find out the right triggers and to find out the data you want to use. And in the next few minutes, we want to give you a little bit deeper insight on the first two stages. That means on the fleet management service, and then on the services that are available. That's more than one, which help you to collect data remotely from your development vehicle. And how exactly this can work will show us Martin.
Yeah. We'll go to the next slide. I have got three main topics. The first one, I will show you the fleet management. On the second, I give you insight in the remote vehicle access. And the third one gives you insight into fleet overview. It's an app called Falcon. So if you are on fleet management, I think most of you are grown up with Excel. There's no chance. There's nothing else. We mostly use Excel. And there are sometimes fleet management tools existing. They are focused on fleet management. What we have done is the fleet management is the base. So there you put in your vehicles, you have a calendar functionality, you have a task planning possibility, and so it's easy to connect all information on one platform. And also, it's possible that you, on your own, you manage who has access to the data. So only people you invite to the project are able to access really the data and can have a look on it. So I will jump now further and how does it work? How the solution works. So the first thing is the we say at point one, management. So you create your resources, you create a vehicle, you create equipment, and you assign equipment to a vehicle. So you know exactly what's built into the vehicle at this point of time. And you just log it. The logging is actually, you make a snapshot, which you can have a look afterwards. So you create revisions, how the vehicle is fully right now equipped. And to the vehicle, you have got your bookings, related tasks, for example, depending on who is working in your project. For example, the fleet management department, they can block the car for tire change in winter or things like that. But not only creating the vehicles, in the second step, you go and you group the vehicles. So you say, okay, you have a special group of vehicles. They all go to a test run to Dubai or wherever. And so you have exactly this group. You can sort after the group. You can sort files after that group. And you have only your relevant data visible. And then it comes to the third part, display and define attributes. So specific vehicles in specific areas, they might need specific attributes. So for all these vehicles, you want to have a specific software you want to track this. So you have attribute. You can type in, okay, in this vehicle, we have software 156 installed, for example. And so you have that directly also sortable and searchable via that attribute. So that's the fleet management, which gives you a frame for your complete fleet. Now we go a little bit into the deep. So we have the remote vehicle access. So just imagine your vehicles are around the world or maybe also even in front of your house. And with remote vehicle access, you have the chance to log in to an installed to a vehicle. So we see it a bit here on this picture. So within here, you're at home or in the office, and you log into the Calponia platform. And then in the vehicle, we have a connectivity gateway installed, which is connected via Ethernet to a car PC. Or also, for example, we have it also available to connect to a ES820, that's a ETAS product, where you can have functionalities like flashing, remote calibration, remote validation, so you can look at the data remotely. And that's the first part, that you look what's going on the vehicle. And the second part is that all the data is collected, you can store in a specific folder, and that folder is automatically in the background synchronized with Calponia. So all people, which are actually in your project, they have the chance to look at the data and also work with the data. So if you go here through the single steps, so it's possible remote calibration, you can monitor your measurements, or you can remotely flash the software. And now the question is a bit, how does it work? So access your car via connectivity gateway. I just showed before, you log in through the Calponia platform. What do you need in the vehicle? In the vehicle, you have, in an early phase where you have a lot of testing equipment, mostly you have a car PC installed, and all different kind of measurement equipment is connected to this car PC. What we are doing, that car PC is normally offline, and security-wise, you shouldn't put it directly in the internet. A lot of things can go wrong, and we take care about that. You connect it just to our connectivity gateway, and the connectivity gateway has only the possibility to talk with Calponia. So you have a straight line to Calponia. There's, security-wise, no access to that system. And when you have it installed via plug and play, it's done within a couple of minutes. You have possible access to the vehicle. And what happens then? You transfer and monitor the display of this car PC. So actually, you don't have to be in the car. You can from everywhere look at the car and doing and changing parameters in the car and changing things to adjust. We had customers who used it. They have a big vehicle, and yeah, there was a little bit time pressure, as yeah, most of you, I think a couple of project leaders are also in. You come into pressure if it goes to the end of the project and things are just not going well. And sometimes it's necessary to ship a vehicle and there's not the latest software on. So you have to remotely flash. So you transfer the software to that vehicle, and in this vehicle, you log in remotely, you flash the latest software, and then you can start with your measuring run. And directly in the background, you are coming to step 3, you get the data directly transferred. So every time when a measuring file is, let's say, completed, it's transferred in the background. And then you use your normal analyzing tools to look into this data and to analyze, okay, have I adjusted everything right? Hopefully not wrong. But if it's wrong, no problem. You remotely log in and you fix it. Or sometimes systems are breaking down and not working as expected. You can log in and you have a look. That gives us a great benefit, and just some experiences we had in the field. Yeah, you all know the topic of Corona, and we had some cases in the US. So the people couldn't travel, and the customer didn't allow to have 2 people sitting in the car. And what's really cool, it's not allowed that the foreign person drives the car. So actually, we're totally blocked. And we could manage to fully remotely make our measurement drives, configure the vehicle, and we could fulfill our project target. The customer was happy. We had really fast access to the vehicle, and everything went well. If I see it now a little bit in your context, just imagine you're working together with your colleagues at VW. Sometimes you want to have an expert from VW, or VW want to have an expert from Skoda looking at some measurement data. You just connect him into the project, and he can remotely log in and help you for the specific topic, wherever the car is. And that's the big benefit. So you don't have to wait, you don't have to travel, and that just speeds your world a lot up. We had also once the case that customer said things which you needed 2 months before, you solved now in 3 days. Yeah, what happens? There was just a bug. And instead of traveling, in that case it was Italy, traveling to Italy, finding out what the problem is, traveling back, fixing the software, going through testing, traveling back, flashing again. We could remotely log in, we found the error, we changed the software, we were remotely flashed, and the test drive was going on. So that really helps a lot in the complete project phase. So now we dived in to a specific problem. If you now come to the next step, you have an app called Fleetwag, and that helps you in the wider range. So if you have more than one vehicle, or if you have 50 vehicles or 10 vehicles, testing vehicles, you might only want to know specific data. And what we can do here, you have the service, it streams data based on OBD2 or CAN, XDP. So we have all these measurement protocols. It's quite easy to, based on DBC files, for example, to find out the data you want to know. And you say, okay, I want to have, just call it the speed. You want to have the speed, kilometers per hour, measured every 10 milliseconds or every 100 seconds, or take an oil temperature. You want to have the oil temperature measured every 100 seconds. And then after 100 seconds, you transfer the data, and now you can see here in the dashboard that's fully flexible. So that's the dashboard. You can create 100% on your needs. So you can create limits. For example, if the temperature of the oil goes over special degrees, you can automatically connect in the background systems from you where you get a triggering. Don't tell it to your wife. Say she would like to look at the speed. Not good idea, but there are a lot of measurement things which really helps you in your world. And you can find out errors. So every time an error comes, you can have a fleet overview, all errors. Then there are people who are responsible for the complete fleet. They want to see, okay, how many kilometers are driven with a car. So you have a mileage. You have a testing fleet of 10 vehicles, and you know I need, in the end, 140,000 kilometers on each vehicle, or 40,000 kilometers on each vehicle, more realistic. And you have the complete fleet. When do I reach this value in order to rely on some regulations, rules, and so on? How it really works. That's actually the same hardware you're using. You have, again, the connectivity gateway. You place the connectivity gateway inside the car, and you connect it to the CAN or via Ethernet, via OBD to your vehicle. And then you go into the Falcon app, you configure what you want to measure, and then the third step comes. In the third step, you can say, okay, I want to have this and this value in this graph. I want to mix specific graphs. I want to set thresholds. I want to setting an alert. And then you get the alert when something is going wrong. So that perfectly helps you. What you can also do, we know that's only half of the truth, because if you see this data or if you see the problem, it might be a problem that you want to have more data. So what you can do, you can switch on to create MF4 files. So in the background, you create MF4 files. The MF4 files are transferred to Calpurnia and are searchable in the file section within Calpurnia. You can then grab the files there, either use analyze tools within Calpurnia, or you transfer the files to your local pipeline, and within your local pipeline, as you know it till now, or as you use it till now, you have the perfect chance to work further and deep dive. Or if you see it's not enough data, but we still have some other measurement equipment, remember, you have the RVA functionality, and if you have a car PC or some other device where you can connect to in the car, you remotely log into the car, and you can deeply analyze online in the car what's the problem. So that gives you the complete picture how it would help you. But this was now just a rough view to say it maybe in one sentence. In the fleet management, you have the complete fleet with all the attributes, with all the functionality, with the tasks and so on. With the RVA, you have the chance to deep dive in the vehicle, to transfer the measurement data, and then in the third step, you have the Fleet Falcon, which gives you overview over the complete fleet, and also helps you for specific topics to dive deeper and to have a measurement overview over the long run. That's the three topics I want to show you. I think now we can go over to a question session.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for those very interesting insights of our services. The time we had right now to show you those services is very limited, and I think we can show you really more insights of these services, and we are really looking forward to get in touch with you. So if there's anything unclear, if you want to know more details about our services, if you want to maybe discuss your specific use case with us, please contact us, come back to us. We're open for any questions. And of course, we will go in deeper discussions with you one by one after this event. If there is anything unclear right now, and if there's any question coming up in the last 20 minutes, please feel free, ask these questions right now. There's a little text felt next to your screen, and if there is anything unclear, this will pop up right now here on our tablet, and we can go into these questions right now and discuss it if there is anything unclear. Until the first question comes up, I have a question to you, Martin.
Yeah.
We saw two services that are remote services. We saw the RVA solution, the remote vehicle access, and we saw the Fleet Falcon solution. What's the big difference to those two services?
The big difference is with RVA, with remote access, you can log in to the vehicle. So actually, you jump into the vehicle and you can do whatever you could do if you sit in the vehicle. And you're transferring the measurement data to your backend. So you can, for example, if you have equipment in the vehicle which makes you able to flash, then you can flash new software on devices. Compared to the Fleet Falcon gives you an overview over your complete fleet, over your testing fleet, and you can configure it to measure specific data continuously. So the data is transferred into a database, which is time series. So actually, if you want to show over what happened in the last week, you can show only the data from the last week, and it gives you a few, okay, within the last week, if you, just as an example, if you want to have a look on your battery loading for electric vehicles, is there some continuous loading always or deloading, or is there something which where you think, okay, something is maybe not perfect, or there's a value which we have to look in detail? You see it on one step in.
Okay, so let me summarize. The big difference is for the remote vehicle access, there has to be any kind of computing logic inside of the test vehicle. For Fleet Falcon, we do not use anything like this, because Fleet Falcon is plugged in directly to any kind of CAN bus on the test vehicle.
Yeah, exactly. So the Fleet Falcon, it uses the same hardware. So the thing is, you can also use both in parallel. So you have the RVA, you connect your computer via the Ethernet with the IoT gateway. For Fleet Falcon, you connect the IoT gateway directly to the CAN, and then you get the CAN measurement data. And both work also in parallel. So you have the same hardware, and there are also some, you have seen it on the service overview, there are a lot of services coming in the back. So it's growing continuously. And if a new service or a new functionality is coming, we just make a software over the air update, and a new service is available, and you can use that one.
When we talk about the remote vehicle access solution, we learned now that we can access a car, we can access the screen of a measurement device within the car. And how about the data from the car when it is uploaded to our file logic? do I have to stay at my computer while this is happening, or is it automatic?
No. We don't go back in the last century. No, that's all going in the background. So actually, you switch off your computer, you switch it on the next time, and the data is there. So as soon as the gateway is powered up, as soon as your measuring equipment is powered up, the data will be collected, and in the background, it will be transferred to the platform. So whenever you log in the next time to the platform, you will see all the data collected and transferred in the background. So you don't have to take care about transferring data and so on. But that's a big difference with some handmade solutions where you have to figure out how you plug it together and if you have an LTE stick or something like that with security and so on. So that's all not your topic anymore. You just plug the system in, and in the background, everything is transferred.
Okay. And when the data is available at my cloud logic, how about data security? It's a Bosch platform that's in the background. Can we access those data?
Oh. Sometimes we get a question from the customer, can you help me with the data? And we say, sorry, no. As long as we are not in the project itself, we have no access at all. We have, of course, we give you, if you order the service, we release the service, so we have the information who has ordered it. Of course, we need that one for the contracting and so on. But to the data, we have no access at all. So that's a really critical point in the complete cloud technology. Right now, the system is built up that you have every project is, in principle, own system. And the systems are not accessible from outside. So as long as you're not part of this virtual system, you just can't access the data. And as soon as you're a member of it, then you have access. And then you have the possibility, as for example, Skoda wants to have help from a Bosch employee. Can you help me with specific data? But we should only have a few, right? So there are different access levels. Or you maybe have projects with different companies. So we know there's not only Bosch, there's Conti, there are some others. And you can have in Calpurnia a project with Conti. We don't know it. So that's exactly the idea that you are the lord of the data, so we cannot access it at all.
Okay, thank you very much. I just had a look at our platform. There's no more questions coming up in the meantime. Mm-hmm. So I think there's nothing more to say than say thank you for your time, thank you for listening. And yeah, as already mentioned, looking forward to get in contact with you and to show you a lot more details to our services and to discuss your specific use cases.
Yeah. We are looking forward to hear from you.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.